The powerhouse startup Flexis are bringing 3 brand new vehicles bristling with innovation. Join me as I consider the first of these and get insights from the people responsible for bringing them to market.
So the first van that we're going to consider is the step-in van, which is an L2 version. L2 meaning that it's 3.55 meters between the wheel arches and 5.27 meters long. What does that give you in practical terms? Well, in the load area there, you get 9 of your cubic meters. Plenty of room to stand up, just under 2 meters in the back there, which means that you can jump in and jump out very effectively. In terms of weight in carrying capacity, you've got 1,100 kilos. So is this meeting a need for you? Well, the urban logistics environment, I think, is crying out for this smaller but spacious van. But is this something that can meet a need in your business? For me, the ease of access, the in and out, which we'll test over in the Mule, as they call it, because we can't get into this one, we'll show you how that all works. It does make a lot of sense. There are a lot of vehicles that have tried this kind of solution, but have yet to really be able to make their mark in the market. From an electric credentials point of view, this has a charging speed of 240 kilowatts. That's blooming quick. How quick? It's 15 to 80% in just 20 minutes. That is exceptional. Now, this is the first van that I'm aware of. Yep, I'm pretty sure it's the first one that is utilizing the 800 volt architecture. Paul, what does that matter? Well, it means that you can get energy into the vehicle quicker. This is what other brands have been using to give us these really fast charging speeds in the car world. Haven't yet got into the van world, but now we're beginning to see it. And this makes sense because, of course, urban logistics, you need to be able to stop, quick charge, and crack on with your day. So what about the range, Paul? Well, let me tell you about the range. The range is 350 kilometers. Well, we are in France after all. But let me tell you, it's around about 217 miles. So 217 miles, if you're in urban logistics, you're not charging that every day, let's be honest. But when you do need to charge, if you get caught short, you're out on the hoof, if you find the right charger, you're charging extremely quickly and cracking on with your day. The charging port is here and the front offside, which means you can pull in and then hopefully there will be cameras fitted, which I think are standard when the vehicle comes to market, so that as you're reversing out, you'll still have a clear picture, which is really important. You might be able to see a steering wheel there through the window, but there's little else in its model. So why don't we go and have a little look about what it might look inside. Now, while this is just a mock-up, it is very lifelike, I'm assured. And if you're the driver here, I think you're getting a reasonably good experience. I'm expecting that we'll see an armrest on the driver's seat. The steering wheel seems and feels very nice, and you've got all the controls that you would expect on the dashboard. There are places to fix equipment so that you can have your PDA, and I'm sure with the connected services that Flexis promised to come with, this nice screen here is going to be able to access all of your parcel deliveries and all of that good stuff.
The idea initially, and the idea is to, the motto that we have is to reduce the mental load and the physical load of the drivers. We know that a typical driver, he can afford 80, 100 deliveries a day. That means 80, 100 stops a day.
Yeah.
A stop is a stress. What do I need to do? You have probably a lot of actions to do to realize. So we help them not to care about driving, to care about only their job, and not to care about some other aspects of the vehicle.
Yeah.
So we help them to do their job, to execute in a very safer environment.
Safe and simple, it seems. I mean, the button is a great thing. What I loved about what Seb was saying was that you're reducing the mental load and you're reducing the physical load. Talk to me about their mental load, especially in context with this lovely little button here. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so we've incorporated what we call a delivery button into the vehicle, and the delivery button is designed to be fully configurable. So it goes back to the whole point about a software-defined vehicle and the advantages that you get from that. You know, it would be really easy to design a button that we call a delivery button and say, well, it does X, Y, and Z. But actually what we've done is kind of flip that on its head and gone, we've designed a delivery button, Mr. Customer, what would you like it to do? And there's a whole range of things that we can configure that button to do that sit in line with the values and the requirements of the fleet that's going to be operating the vehicle. So it could be things like putting hazard lights on, putting the parking brake on, opening the bulkhead door, locking the exterior doors, and a whole range of other things, interior lighting as an example. And that button can really do whatever the customer wants to do. So back to the project sales approach, part of what we want to do is work with our customers, really kind of shadow drivers and understand what the challenges they have in their day-to-day operations. And then we can take that back to the fleet and say, if you were to do this with the delivery button, actually we can save your drivers 15 seconds per drop. If you can save that 15 seconds by 100 deliveries per day and take away all of that mental fatigue for the driver, the benefits are huge.
This is going to be built around the driver, and that is going to be making it a very comfortable place to be. For me, the fact that you've got this nice free and easy exit and entrance at the side and also at the back with a sliding partition which comes as standard with the vehicle, and then it all configured to your needs with regard to your parcel delivery function, whether it be large parcels, small parcels, or even some different form of delivery. Everything is going to be catered for. So easy access in and out with 9 cubic meters and 1,100 kilos. This is looking like a pretty solid option for those urban logistic environments. When I first saw this vehicle at the IAA, it wasn't actually this vehicle, but a version of it. I like the looks of it. It's quite striking, and they've toned it down a bit. There was a lot of yellow everywhere. This is more industrial, and that's where it should be. But certainly it is immediately identifiable as a particularly interesting looking brand, and these headlights, if they come and make it to market, could look really kind of funky. I'm imagining a digital signature across the front there. You will know when this vehicle's coming. One of the other things that Flexis promise is a 10.3 meter curb to curb turning ability, turning circle you might call it. That is across the L1 version of all of these versions, and just 11.4 for the longer wheelbase. Now that's pretty impressive and compares with like a Clio car, for goodness sake, or you know, a Caddy van is less, much less than the Caddy van. So this is going to be perfectly suited for the environment for which it's been designed.
This is our halo. This is the vehicle that's really been designed specifically for that urban logistics driver to maximise time saving, to maximise efficiency, to minimise kind of downtime in the day-to-day operation, but also to really put the driver at front of mind, because it's so important that those drivers are able to stay healthy, they're able to stay motivated, and they're able to stay comfortable, because you know, this is their office. They're working in it day in, day out.
So if you want to see more of this vehicle and get under the skin of it, get yourself along to the CV show on the 29th and 30th of April and the 1st of May, and you too can have an up-close and personal experience with the new Flexis step-in van.